Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dr. Tristy Edwards. I hope you've been keeping safe and just not getting too bothered by this COVID situation because we're gonna be over it soon. I can feel it. So I hope everybody's staying positive. Comment down below if you plan to take the vaccine or if you have. And yeah, I for one have taken the vaccine. It was not a bad experience, and I truly think it's one step in taking us further away from the pandemic and closer to some level of normalcy, whatever that will be for us in the future. I get asked very often, almost every single day in the DMs is, how do I get rid of dark spots on my face? Now, dark spots or post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation on the face is extremely common. If you've had acne, more than likely you've had to deal with it, and it's a little bit tricky to deal with, and if certain things aren't being done properly, it will not get better or perhaps even get worse. Even though acne and hyperpigmentation goes hand in hand, they occur alongside each other, they are two separate issues. So if you're using medications to treat your acne and your acne is getting better but the hyperpigmentation still remains, it's not that your acne treatment is not working, it's just that maybe the hyperpigmentation wasn't necessarily being targeted as well. I think it's important for us to get into what hyperpigmentation really is and why it occurs. But before we get into that, I have to talk to you about melanin. Melanin is a beautiful and wonderful thing. It actually protects our hair, our eyes, and our skin from the harmful effects of the sun. Lighter skinned persons have less melanin in their skin, and darker skinned persons have more melanin in their skin. I'm not going to get too much into the biological nature of melanin, but now that we know the basics, we can actually start talking about post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. Okay, let's break down the term post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. Post means after. Inflammatory has to do with an immune reaction that results in redness, swelling, heat, and tenderness. And hyper is increased. Pigmentation has to do with the pigment. So when we put it together, we have increased melanin being produced in areas after inflammation has taken place in those areas. Okay, so we've spoken about melanin, we've spoken about post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. Now we're going to get into 4 things that we do that either cause hyperpigmentation or worsen hyperpigmentation. The first thing is picking at our acne or using comedone extractors to extract blackheads on our own at home. I'm not gonna lie, I know it's tempting, it's very difficult, and it takes a lot of willpower and mental strength to not pick at a pimple when it's just staring you dead in the face. We really have to try to avoid doing that though, because if you notice on a day-to-day basis, we're touching door handles, we're touching our phones, car doors, we're touching a bunch of things. And to be honest, I know for a fact that most of us are not washing our hands before we're squeezing pimples, because sometimes we do it without even realizing what we're doing. So when we do this, it actually drives bacteria from our hands and grease and dirt further down into the pores, which is a perfect environment now for bacteria to multiply and for inflammation to set up. Now, as you may recall, inflammation in the skin is never a good thing because inflammation will always lead to post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. Number 2 is the use of scrubs and other physical exfoliants. So most of the scrubs on the market, they're just way too harsh for our skin. A lot of them are made from walnut crystals, which are pretty jagged and uneven in texture. So when we rub these against our skin, the friction and just the harshness of it is enough to set up irritation and inflammation in the skin, which we're trying to avoid because we know that inflammation leads to post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. I can't tell you how often I've seen persons with large dark patches right here to the cheeks, and when I'm taking the history, I realize that these persons have been using whether scrubs or brushes or sometimes even a rag to wash their face. The friction from these items, it's enough to really just take off too much of the skin and cause irritation and inflammation, leaving behind the post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation in those areas. Some persons are of the misconception that if you're using a skin product and it feels spicy or tingly, that means it's working. However, this might actually be your skin crying out for help. Acids in skincare are great, so your AHAs and your BHAs are wonderful in getting rid of dead skin cells and giving you a glow and a host of other lovely benefits. However, if we start off at a high concentration of these, they can be quite irritating and inflammatory to the skin. The same goes for acne treatments such as benzoyl peroxide and retinoids. We have to start low and gradually increase. I also do not recommend DIYs, especially from Pinterest. So I've seen a lot of concoctions with lemon or lime and baking soda and apple cider vinegar, and you really don't want to put these on your skin. If you checked out my last video about contact dermatitis, some of these can give you an irritant or allergic contact dermatitis, and they should be avoided at all costs. My fourth and final point is something that I preach about every single day. If you follow me on social media, Instagram or Facebook, you've definitely heard this one before. Because melanin protects our hair, skin and eyes from UV radiation, whenever we're exposed to UV radiation from the sun, melanin jumps up and gets ready and excited to work. Now, if you have post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation on your skin and you're not protecting your skin from the sun, what do you think is gonna happen? The melanin is gonna be stimulated in those areas, so the PIH is going to get worse. Or if you didn't have it before and you're constantly being exposed to sun without sun protection, you're going to develop some form of hyperpigmentation. So my friend, if you are not using sunscreen on a day-to-day basis and you are fighting hyperpigmentation, you're wasting your time. It's an uphill battle. Even if you see some results, it's just gonna go back to square one. So the moral of the story, don't skip sunscreen. Alright, that's it for this video. I am really just here to help guide you to make better decisions for the health of your hair, skin and nails. Thanks for watching this video. Please stay tuned for the next one where we'll talk about things that we can do to correct post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I will see you soon.